the things that I love are composition and color.
Hmm.
So anytime I'm shooting, I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
And uh, I'm I'm basically like all of my favorite photos come to a place of it's a landscape that I would take if the couple wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's a landscape photo, and I'm by no means a landscape photographer. I
Sure.
think that I mean, all of my favorite photos are like center composed
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
things that photographers hate and things that aren't gonna win you awards. I
Hmm.
have no interest in
Yeah.
awards.
I love that.
I've I think I've entered competitions in the past,
Yeah.
but mainly at the behest of somebody pushing me into it.
Sure.
Uh, but but as far as the imagery that I'm producing, it like and sharing, because I'm really only sharing about 1% of the work
Right.
that I'm putting out there,
Yeah. Tip of the
as we
iceberg.
all do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and a lot of it comes down to, like, is this a good photograph without the couple in it?
Mm.
And from there, then, like, I'm choosing my background and then I'm putting the couple in there. And then specifically over the last 3 years, learned how to light them well,
Yeah.
because before I wasn't really doing much lighting,
Hmm.
because I didn't know how to. And now I can bring in some lighting to make them look even more like romantic.
Mm.
I like the photos to be romantic. Magical is something that's associated a lot
Okay.
with my photography, partially because it's a word that I put out there,
Yeah.
and it kind of trains a lot of my followers to think of that.
Sure.
But but I and there's a lot of photographers who are in the same camp as I am, but they exist outside of the wedding space.
Mm. Yeah.
They're Because I come from a portrait background,
Okay.
and for as far as like photography is concerned, I was going through like a bit of a like depression, and um, living by myself, and there's like suicidal thoughts there. It was really dark, and for photography is basically what saved me from that.
Mm.
I i had bought a camera, and my parents were taking a trip up to Seattle. I went with them, and once I got back after taking a few photos, I told myself, I had seen, I'm a big like I'm a big student of YouTube,
Yeah. Same.
because I think it's such a very interesting platform. And it was a time when Casey Neistat was daily vlogging,
Yeah.
and that's something that we've connected over. And I think that hustle, and he was posting these daily vloggers were posting a new photo every single day,
Yeah.
or not a new photo, a new video every single day.
Yeah.
And I know I didn't physically have it in me to be able to create something like that,
Mm.
but I knew that I needed something to look forward to every single day.
Yeah.
And so I told myself, I will take a new portrait of a new person every day for as long as I can. And if I miss a day, that's okay.
Mm.
If I like having a lot of grace with myself, but a lot of it was get out there and go meet somebody, talk to them, and like
Yeah.
just get out there. And that's really what took me out of it.
Mm.
And so I feel like photography saved my life in that way.
Wow.
And so with that, it was a lot of editing every day, and that's how I learned how to shoot. I come from like, so it was shoot a portrait of a new person, and I was really shooting portraits with the 35 millimeter, and the Sigma 35 millimeter 1.2, and this and a Canon 5D Mark III,
Oh wow.
which in my opinion is like my favorite camera for color.
Mm.
I think it has the best color profile out there.
Mm.
even now, the only one that rivals it is the 1DX Mark II, which is the flagship camera
Interesting.
for Canon, or was the flagship camera. There's a 5DX Mark III now,
Yeah.
but but from there I learned to color things, and I was seeing what other people were doing. There's a lot of blues and teals, and extracting those colors. There's a lot of blues in the shadows, and so I really love that color. Blue is like very important to me. It's very calming.
Hmm.
My favorite color in the world is what I call like deep sea blue, and
Hmm.
it's the color that happens right at like about 10 minutes after sunset at the beach, and the water goes this like shimmery blue. And so a lot of that is it was part of my photos, and then brought the oranges back into the skin tone.
I love
So
that.
that's where I like found this palette that really worked for me.
Hmm.
And and there were other portrait photographers that were doing that, but it hasn't, and didn't really make the jump into wedding photography. I'd never seen anybody really do it, and so
Sure.
that's why when I started to do photography for weddings, it I, it was something that was just trained in me to
Right.
really bring those colors in. And for a while, I was doing a lot of that signature blue, but now it's less about the blue and more about what color is already there and what can I pull out. Although sometimes I'll like add a splash of color there that's not really there, and it's just kind of a fun signature look for me.
Yeah. No, totally. I feel like it'd be that's one of those things that you see photographers who don't offer something, but I'm like, if David ever did an editing workshop or like an editing video, I'd go watch. I'd go there. Um,
Oh, thanks.
yeah, yeah,
Thanks, man. That's a big compliment.
yeah. I think it's cool. I think having that kind of approach to it, even you saying like blue and orange, like complementary colors, right? Like that because you're a
Right.
designer. Where most photographers like we don't think about that or know that stuff starting out. And I remember one of the first photos I took, like they're not of a person. It was of pumpkins and then the blue sky, right? And I was just like, this is my best photo ever. It was like 2009, probably 12 years
Love
ago, I
it.
guess. And I think there's something with photographers where I talk to some of my mentees about this, and I'm always like, why do you like this photo? And they're like, and it won't be the big thing. It'll be one thing, or it'll be the colors, or it'll be the expression. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Like, let's chase that down next time you're shooting. Like, let's hunt for it. Let's try. Let's work for it. Because I know it's like not every time you shoot you're going to have these colors. So, but it's not a big deal because you're a professional. You're still skilled at what you do. But if you see blue and orange, or if you see that blue, you're like, hey, we're going to shoot this right now. And knowing when that time is going to happen and knowing how to, get it to where you want it to be. And then, yeah, editing to bring it back, I think is really cool.